a total of 12 questions from our other students. And I think 7 of them are actually from section C. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be the questions that everybody is looking out for. So hopefully all of you, when you to soon join in later on, then we'll be able to go through all the things they are looking for. Yeah, so give me a while. Let me try and make sure that all of you are like there already. Okay, so give me a moment first. Okay, so yeah, hopefully you can still see the screen in front of you. Hopefully we get to also see the rest of us, okay, all starting to go and figure out what's going on for the paper. Yeah, I think there is many questions. Yes, a lot of you are like asking, with regards to that factors question. Some of you got the images, which one? Okay, the images based on your which one? Oh no, I suddenly cannot remember it. The one that you are cutting out from a piece of paper. The question 17 of today. Okay, everything, we have all those. The A and B question as well for the volume. Yes, we have that as well inside. And we'll not review the answer first, but I would say don't worry too much about it because most of you that actually did the question, you got the correct question. Okay, there is one question, yes, regarding the donating money. Okay, so only at the later part did I realize that the question was about related to donating money. So although my question has a little bit of phrasing error, I would say, okay, but not to worry. Yeah. Okay. So although my questions over here, okay, they may have a little errors because it's not exactly the way it was phrased in the PSLE. But yeah, don't worry, okay, the general idea for the question is still captured in what I have prepared. So I hope everybody, yes, you're waiting in front of the screens right now. Is there anyone that has any other questions that you would like to share with me that you remember about the PSLE? Currently, just waiting for all of you all to go and tell me what's going on here. Yes, hi. Okay, I see some of you are saying hi to me. Okay, and if there's any concerns with regards to the questions here, right? Okay, you can share with me first. Okay, so to be fair, okay, I'll be turning on the live exactly at 7 p.m. Okay, I'm going to be starting the live session at exactly 7 p.m. so that everyone who is waiting for this, you'll be able to join us on time. Now, let me tell you first, okay, our session here may not last all the way up to 8:30. It depends on how many questions I'm going through, but I'll make sure that I go through each of the questions that I have as in-depth as possible. If you have questions, if you have concerns, please type inside the live chat there and I will look at it. And if I happen to see any of you mentioning inside the live chat, I will address it for you. Okay? Wow, some of you are saying that the math is so easy. Very good. If you found it easy, then it's good for you. Okay? What about the rest of you? Do you all still feel that it is okay? Wow, some of you say the easiest paper you have done. Some of you get a slightly different answer, is it, for the last question? Okay, if you are confident for this, then it's good. Okay, we have 70 overs ready. Not bad. Probably there'll be even more that'll be coming in soon. Okay, struggle with the last few questions. Yeah, it's quite normal because the last few questions tend to be the 4 to 5 mark questions. So it's a little bit harder for us to do as well. Okay, for most students, it's going to be a bit more challenging. But for those that have been following our explanations for many of the topics that we have been going through, for those who have been looking at the other sources where we have been sharing our solutions as well, okay, you will actually see some of these questions kind of reappear again. Okay, stuff that I have mentioned before that I predict that will more or less appear again this round seems to really have happened again. Yeah. Okay, so yes, let's not talk about we believe that for those who think that they'll do well this round should be able to do well. But like what some of the other students say also, okay, we take it as try not to be too complacent. We believe that you will do well. I also trust that you will do well. But you can probably just say, okay, then yes, just be like that first lah. Okay, just tell yourself, good, I believe that this round I did well, I can now look forward to my next paper. Don't need to worry about the math paper as of now. Okay, so we still have about 5 more minutes before our this webinar starts. And yes, as mentioned here, this is a recorded session. So it is optional if you want to listen throughout all the way to the end. This is completely up to you, okay? I'm just sharing the questions because I know some of us may be a little bit worried about the questions. Maybe you feel that these questions over here, if you don't see, you don't find a solution, or you are not sure whether is it the correct or wrong answer, you may feel very frustrated all the way to the next paper. So you may just want to take a sneak peek. But if you feel that you have already seen what you need, you can just go off, okay? Because this is merely for me to share what we have. Okay, again, optional. This is an optional webinar for you to join. Okay, there will still be a bit more students that will be coming in, so I still need to wait for another 4 more minutes first, all right? 4 more minutes. Okay, good. Okay, the main thing about this entire thing, right, is that you need to stay confident, okay? Remember to tell yourself, okay, never mind. I believe that what I've done for my math paper is okay. Don't think about it really. Don't think about it too much. Don't think about the results so much. Try to focus on your next paper coming soon as well. Okay, we have more people that are coming in, so we have approximately another 2 more minutes before our webinar starts. Yes, this is a recorded session, so it will still be within our Think Academy, our page over here. You can find the live session later on, and you can see we'll probably be one of the top few on the list over there, where we go through our questions. Now, just to let you all know as well, so today we will not do an in-depth analysis of this entire paper because based on the number of questions I'm given, maybe I could still wait a little bit more first to have a better analysis, and then I start to compare with the other papers of the previous years. No point with me sharing with you these 12 questions that I got right now and then just tell you, okay, this one is the trend of this PSLE paper. So now comparing to last year's trend, I should look through all or at least a lot more of the questions first before I can give you a more in-depth view. Okay, so maybe later on, closer to the next week, I'll try to go and share with another analysis for all of you. Nice, okay, we still see a lot more of you coming in already. Okay, wow, all the Gen Alpha slang is appearing already. I cooked the paper. Don't know what kind of cooking method you're talking about. Kidding. How do I know the questions? I'm a teacher. I have my own students as well that are sharing the questions with me. Okay, so it's due to our students here and everybody's efforts that they are able to provide me with as big of a list of questions here. So very soon we're going to be starting our webinar. Okay, please do not spam inside the chat there. Okay, the chat is not just for you, it's for everybody to see. Okay, and I'm going to be starting very soon already. In I think less than a minute, then we will begin. Okay, so hopefully everyone is prepared already. Some of you are still asking me this. Okay, so once again, questions that I have inside this webinar here, they are shared by our own students, okay, and it's really purely from our own students. Okay, there are other sources that have been releasing questions as well. So if you want to, you can look at the other locations as well. So this is purely based on what my own students, our own students have shared with us. And that's why I want to use that to share with everyone else. So the questions are not necessarily in order. Okay, I'll talk more about that later on. And anyway, we have begun already. So now, today, we're going through our questions from paper 1 and paper 2. And I would say that I did not obtain any MCQ questions. Questions seem to only appear from either section B or section C. So it will only be between these two. So whether are they exactly in section B or C or not, I need you all to also tell me later on. So not all the questions are based on the correct sections, but this was what was provided to me by all the other students. Now, let me share with you. Okay, a note to everybody first. As you are going through this paper over here, note that the questions shared in this presentation is based on what my students has recollected. Okay, after the test, right after they are done, they send me a message and tell me that these are the questions. So there could be some inaccuracies here and there. Okay, but if there are any problems, any discrepancies that you like to share, you can share them inside the chat box. And if I do manage to see it, I will try to amend it on the spot. But if, let's say, there is anything that I missed out or anything I'm clearly wrong, I may also review the live chat later on to find some of the discrepancies and amend later on. So, take note that throughout these questions run through here, I'm using two things. Brackets, where I'm rephrasing a little bit of what was being provided to me so that the question makes a little bit more sense. Or I've written the answers, the question in italics so that there is a complete reinterpretation of the question. So basically, with the information I've provided, I wrote down as a question that I think was what was actually being tested. Because of course, not everybody remembers exactly word for every question. Okay, so now as you are all looking into the questions ready, now let me give you a quick teaser first. One of the questions that have not been shared with the other sites over here is this question. And the reason why I say teaser, because I am not going through this one first. I'll be going through some of the other questions. So if you're looking out for that question, you would see it later. So for now, let's start off with paper 1, section B. Now, one of the first questions that I see over here, I see that L gets M dollars for every shirt that he sold, and for every 5 shirts he sold, he gets $2. Sorry, let me adjust my camera a little bit. He sold a total of 9 shirts, and as you can see over here, this is an algebra question. So again, if you see over here the question has any inaccuracies, please feel free to share with us. Okay, then I get to go through and actually try to fix this question to make it more appropriate lah. Okay. So now let me start to go and write down. How do we do this question? If this was the actual question here, what do we do? Yeah, so we can see over here, 9 shirts, 5 was sold. Okay, every 5 sold, he gets an extra $2. But did he even sell more than, let's say, 10 shirts? If we divide it by 5, you notice that we only have one group with 4 remainder. This means that he only sold one extra group of 5 shirts. So, if it was M for every shirt and he sold 9 of them, he was supposed to earn $9M. But because of the extra $2, so from there we add another $2. 9M plus 2 giving us 9M, sorry. Let me erase a little bit. We get 9M plus $2. So remember the way we bracket the question, okay? We have to go and, bracket the solution. We must bracket, okay, before we write your 9M plus 2. The reason why your dollar sign is not just for 9M, your dollar sign is not just for $2. It's for both of them combined together. So, nice. I see based on the group chat there is a lot of you actually mentioning that, yeah, you did write 9m plus 2. Okay, so very good. One of the questions, no problems. Some of you are talking about the stacked volume question. Just wait a little bit. I have it prepared for all of you already. Let's go for the second one. Now, this one, another patterns-based question. So we see 2041, 2041, 2041, so on and so forth. Okay, and now, the sum of all the digits combined over here is 230. So, how many digits are there in this pattern over here? So, if you all manage to see this, okay, can we actually try and observe the pattern that is ongoing here? Okay, do you see this? Okay, hopefully you all get to see this. I see some of you already giving me the correct answers inside the chat. So, for this particular question, we see that because the sum of all the digits is 230, let's find one group first. One group of digits, 2 plus 0 plus 4 plus 1 gives me 7. And how many of these groups do we have? Because the sum is 230, the total number of groups in this case would be 230 divided by 7, then it gives us 32, remainder 6. But remember this, your 32 groups is for only 4 digits. What about the remaining 6? Okay, so hopefully you all see this as well. Okay, we need to go and split this 6 into 2 plus 4. But if this was what you did, you made a small little error. Because you must remember, the pattern goes 2, 0, 4. So we must still add the 0 in between. And this means there are 3 more digits. So last but not least, okay, let's have the digits in this case. 32 times 4, and we add an extra 3 more digits at the back. So what does it give me in the end? At the end, the answer will be 131. Okay, yes. And some of you are already sharing with the one of the questions I'm going to be going through. Very nice. I'm going to be looking into that very soon as well. Don't worry, okay? You'll get to see it soon. So, the next one. And this question here, okay, it seems actually very similar to the earlier question that was just being tested on. Okay, it looks just like the algebra-based question. So, hopefully this was what you got as well. Now, let us go through this question. If P saves 3 coins every day and his mother gives him 2 extra coins every 7 days, so what do we have for this? Okay, so if we think about this first, 3 coins every day for 45 days, we're expecting 135. Okay, 135. Now, his mother then gives him 2 extra coins, but every 7 days. So, every 7 days, what do we do? 45 divided by 7, and it gives us 6, remainder 3. So, at the end of this, okay, remember, apart from the 135 coins that he was supposed to receive from here, okay, do take note, he needs to go and get an extra 2 coins every 7 days, so plus 6 times 2. So, for this question here, do we get this? Okay? Now not sure if the rest of you are paying attention. Okay. But maybe this one, not very interesting. So if this was fine, okay, never mind. Good for all of us. Then we can proceed on to our next question. Okay? So let us go for the next one. Did you all remember this average question? This average question here, I find it pretty interesting. And hopefully the information that we have there is also correct. You can correct me if there is any little errors inside here. Okay, so now we go for the next part. The average mass for the 3 cans here is 420. So all the masses are 3-digit whole numbers. We want to find the total mass here of the 3 cans. I think this one, pretty easy, right? So this is just a simple 420 times 3, giving us 1260 grams. Now, tuna is wrong. Oh no, some of you are telling me tuna is it's blank blank 9, I see. Okay, Ken, thank you for letting me know. That's where I can make my amendments. So it's a blank, then a 9 at the back. Okay, so can I confirm first, is this okay? Hey, so I'm starting to see already. Okay, very nice. So for this question here, it seems like we have to do it a little bit differently from what I expected already. So it's okay. Now let us write down our values. So in this case, for B, 1260, we know the con definitely is the one that is, we know the weight already. We get rid of that first. So we have 830. Now, in order to find the largest, the greatest possible difference of your sardine cans and the tuna cans, so we need to go and determine the masses of these two items over here. So, now, we think about this. How do we get the largest difference? We want the sardine to be as big as possible, tuna to be as small as possible. Okay. Sorry. The total mass. My bad. I already wrote down the second part here. Okay. Sorry. There. Thank you. My bad. I have entered the second question even before I'm done with the first. Yes. Thank you. So you will see it very soon. Okay. We make the amendments there already, Okay, so with this 830, now our key goal over here is to find the difference between the sardine and the tuna. So from here, we will have to then determine the values. We try to make the sardine as big as possible, the tuna as small as possible. So the goal is this. Sardine, we're not sure of the value, never mind. We can try to assume the number. Let's say, sardine as big as possible. 491, wow, how you all get the numbers, okay? So, because we can see in this case, it ends with a 9. Very nice. It seems like a lot of you are thinking when you are doing the question. So, very good. Because it ends with a 0 at the back. Okay, we do need to remember, because of the 0, then this itself cannot be a 9 anymore. The biggest value there is only going to be 491. So from here, 830 for part B minus 491, then what do we get as the value? So after we subtract, we get 339. And yeah, you are now telling me that, okay, very good, teacher. The answer here is 339. The final value here will be 339. Okay, so from here, answer 339, happy or not? Now, there is a little bit of a problem here as well, because the question in this is not asking for the mass of the tuna, not the mass of the sardine. They are asking for, here, let's see, greatest possible difference between the two. So we need to do 491 minus 339. And then we can get the answer 152 grams at the end. Thank you very much. Yes, all of you have already gotten the correct idea. Hey, very nice. So, okay, a lot of you are like, wow, teacher, happy already. Okay, so thank you in this case here. So just to share as well, right? They only talk about the greatest difference. This means that there are a lot of potential values for this question here. It doesn't mean that it is stick to just 491 and just 339. If you notice, we can do some changes as well to actually obtain some answers. Okay, wait a minute, give me a moment. We can get another set of values. Let's say 481, 349, 471, 359. Yes, some of you may get other values. However, please take note that this may not have given you the largest, the greatest possible difference. So, it is wrong already. So, although you may have gotten some numbers that may seem to fit these parts here, but it is not the greatest. Number 2, some of you may be also wondering, hey, teacher, I can get another set of values as well. Let me write it down. Let's say, to get a greater difference, my tuna can go even smaller. So this can go 329, 319 even, where then this goes to become 501, 511. Teacher, look at that. My difference is even greater. But there is a second problem. It has a 4 over here. So how can it be? So here, this means that your sardine is also wrong. That's why we only have one set of answers over here that leads to the greatest value. So I just want to share a little bit more with all of you. Thank you. Very nice. All of you are talking about this. Now, let us go to the next question where a lot of you are talking about this. Wow. When I came into the chat just now, right, I saw a lot of you actually mentioning this question. And you're like, wow, teacher, this question is very difficult. Okay, a lot of people over here also seem to have trouble trying to identify what to do for these questions. And this one happens to be, if I'm right, the question 30 of section B. Okay, so if it's not, okay, please let me know. But if it's fine, then I will go and add it inside. Okay, let's go through this one. Okay, so some of you telling me question 5. Okay, but anyway, very nice. 28 and 32. Good job, everybody. So we need to have two numbers here that basically sums up to 60. One number less than 40, and they have a common factor of 1, 2, and 4. Now the thing is, I need to have two lines over here, your factors 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4 written up. So in this case, in order for me to determine the number that has your 6 factors here, I need to start to put in other numbers inside. When I put in other numbers, maybe I can calculate and obtain a value that works to get the sum of the 60, and then after that, both numbers are still less than 40. So in essence, there is a kind of guessing that is required inside here. Somewhat of a guessing. Okay? So these ones are, remember, sum to 60. So let us determine the values for these ones. So now, let's say we start off with the number 3. Okay, some of you, okay, teacher, I tried 3 inside. Since I don't have a 3 yet, why not I try to put them inside? 4 times 3, 12. Can I get my 6 factors? I actually can, because if I times 6 times 12, wow, this one very nice already. So if all things are well, we can go over to get the other side to be 48. And yeah, from there we start to go and list down the 6 factors for 48. But now, for this particular question, there is something a bit strange, right? Because you'll be like, hey, wait a minute, teacher, they said both numbers are less than 40. Wow, okay, good. You already noted that this answer is not possible. Because in this case here, for the numbers to be less than 40, right, you cannot even have 40. It cannot be above 40 as well. So therefore, my number has to be smaller than 40 on the other side. Very nice. So because of this, right, we have to make some amendments. It cannot be 12. We go to other numbers that will suit this a little better. So why not I try my next number? I try another one. 5, okay, I have 5. Then after that, I put it inside. 4 times 5, this is 20. Oh, 20. Where is my 20? Okay, wait a minute. Sorry, it's a little laggy on my side. Okay. So we have 20. Now, if this number itself was 20, this means I get 1 times 20, 2 times 10, then this gives me 40 on the other side. But there is still a problem here. Less than 40. Is this less than 40 or not? It still doesn't work. So never mind, we go over to our next set of numbers here. So there is something interesting that you need to take note when you're doing such a question here. Hey, many of you tell me, very good, straight away you can go to 7 already. But why don't we even consider 6 inside? So remember this, 6 itself is made up of 2 factors, 3 times 2. So if there's a 6 inside, there must have a 3. But your 3 is not inside your numbers on the right-hand side. It's not one of the factors here. So therefore, we don't want to consider 6. The next one is actually the number 7. So as we go through our questions here, you will notice that, very good, 7 times 4, 28 at the top, 28 here, 14 here. If we add it to the other side, 32, then we have 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 4 times 8. We managed to get all of the factors, okay, of both numbers. And both numbers are less than 40. And that's the reason why this is your correct answer. Okay, so I know a lot of you, straight away, you see this 28 plus 32. Good job, you managed to get this question correct. So now, we have went through with the easy questions. Now, let's go over to our slightly harder ones. I know many of you are asking for the later questions, but I promise you, they are coming out inside the later parts of my section C over here. Now, let's go through our first question. And this is an easy one, right? The one on speed. So, do you all remember how to convert to your kilometers per hours? Okay, hopefully you can still recall because this is where we do this. We get the 7.2 kilometers. Then after that, this is written as not 120 minutes, not 1.2 hours. Remember, when you're converting minutes to hours, it is 1 hour is to 60 minutes. This means that this is 2 hours. So how do we find the speed of Bob? So for us to go and find in kilometers per hour, we need to remember 7.2 kilometers divided by 2 hours. Right? I hope this was an easy one for everybody. Okay, so in this case here, this would be 3.6 kilometers per hour. This is the speed of Bob. Now, let me also mention, if this was the speed of Bob, I would say Bob is traveling at quite a leisure speed. Because if for most people who are walking, right, your speed tends to be around 5 kilometers per hour. So I would say that this answer here is a very good and reasonable answer as well. So, very good. If this was your question and this is your answer, then well done. We do not need to worry anymore about this one. But for the tougher ones, don't worry. We have it for you as well. Question 15, 16, 17. I have all of them here for everybody. So let us go through this question right now. I know some of you seem to have struggled a little bit for this question. That's why I also really want to go through this one with everybody. So, a large rectangular box was cut into 2 parts, A and B. A had a volume of 384, B had a volume of 1056. Now, B's height was 14 centimeters taller than A. So, in this case, this is basically if this was a height of H. This is going to be a height of H plus 14. But the best thing about this question is, because these questions, these 2 blocks over here, they have something in common. they have the same base area. If you think about the same base area, wow, I am thankful for all of you, because this is the key component for this question. So yes, many of you are giving the question 30. We will show you this question 30 very soon. I mean the answer for 30 very soon. Now, since we have the two boxes over here, A and B, they have their respective volumes as well. If we actually find the difference in volume, this will give us 1056 minus 384. This would give us 672 cm cubed. But what's the significance? This one is basically trying to split our figure into two sections. This B as if there was a little A at the bottom, and then this part is where we look at the difference, which means that we are splitting our figure into two sections to also look at. Because now, as if we are looking at the H, while a figure at the top has a height of 14. So the key component for this question is to help us find the base area. Now, the base area for this question here, take note, the volume is the same as base area times height. So if we have the height of 14 and we have the volume of the difference to be 672, we can find the base area. 672 cm cubed divided by 14 centimeters. Then this would actually give us 48 cm squared. Now, if you manage to get this 48 cm squared, that means you're already nearing the final answer. Because now, you are asked the rectangular box's height. So all we need to do now is to find the total volume and give us 1056 plus 384 this time round, which is 1440 cm cubed. You got the volume, you got the base area, we can find the height. It is just by adjusting the formula at the top and obtaining all the numbers again. So we have the volume of 1440, you have the base area of 48, we can find the height. So for those who are saying that the answer in this case is 1440 divided by 48, which is 30 cm, very well done. You got the correct answer. Well done, everybody. Hey, so let me mention first. If any of you have made a mistake in between, and let's say you calculated for B or for A somehow, okay, or in this case over here, you calculated something that was not the correct answer, by writing this 48 over here, it should already grant you at least one method mark, minimum. But my opinion is this should also grant another method mark. So if you reach your 48 cm square and you wrote down cm square properly here, this should give you 2 marks minimum. Okay, my opinion is your 1440 itself, okay, reaching to this point over here should grant you 1 more, and then this is your final answer mark. Okay, because I'm not sure exactly how many marks this question is, this is where I assume the 4 marks is being split. So if everything is fine, let us continue. Okay, question 16. For this question over here, it's actually quite an interesting one. And I know many of you, as I see through the live chat over there, you are talking about it's a donation-based question. Okay, so this is about donating to charity. To charity. So, very good. This question here, again, I'm so sorry because based on what I've received, I think maybe it was not particularly clear to me that this was based on charity. But don't worry, okay? The general concept of these questions are still fine. So for this question, okay, so let's take a look and see how do we actually look at the values first. Okay, so from here, again, I do not know the names, okay? I only know the numbers. So what I can do here for everybody is actually to go and write down the comparisons over here. Okay, the comparisons. So we have A, the first person, spending 1/4 of the money. B, spending 2/7 of the money. C, spending 2/5 of the money. And yes, this is based on your, the C is correct. It's based on the third person that was being stated by many of the students here. Okay, so let me continue on first, because this is where we can start to use the information that was provided in the earlier sections to do our comparisons. A 2/5C. Now, yes, once again, I'm saying I don't know the names because my students did not recall the name of the students. However, this is not the important part. The important part is how to relate all of these people together. So let's go through this. They said A and B spent the same amount of money. Now, the spending is a small part of the total. And what small part am I referring to? The small part refers to your numerator. If you use this common numerator method, this will make it a lot easier for everybody to solve, because this will just make it 2/8A and your 2/7B. Sorry. Okay. And this will make the amount that was spent by both people the same. So did you consider using this? Okay. Now, in this case, we look at C. C is a little bit different because for C spent 3 times as much money as B. So what I want for C is not just to copy the 2. C must be times 3 of B. So therefore, I want to make sure that my number for C is 3 times. Do you all get these numbers or not? Okay, do you all get this? So, in this part over here, these are the sections that are equal to one another. So, once you have gotten this, that means you have the values of person A, which is 8 units, person B, that is 7 units, person C, that is 15 units. So, just in case, okay, I am really not sure of what the question was tested for A, but based on what I assume, who had the most and least, I would say most is the third person. The least is the second person. So, this is based on what I got lah. But now, how do we relate it back to the total amount of money? So the total in this case over here is 8 units plus 7 units plus 15 units, which is 30 units, which is also $1,560. 1 unit here would give me 52. Last but not least, because all of us are asking for the last person's expenditure, last person C, and how much that was spent. So remember, the question stated over here that it is 2. Hey, wait a minute. Not the 2 that we are looking over here. Because when we compare the values, we are not looking at this 2. We are all looking at this 6. This was the value that we used to compare. This is the value that I need to count. 6 units equals to $312. So when I saw many of you writing the answer of 312, I am very happy because it matches with the one that I have there as well. Okay, so in this case, this would be the answer for question 16 if there was no issues for what I have gotten inside my question here. Okay, so now let me go over to the question that majority of you seems to be looking at. Okay, so what I later found out about this question was this was a rectangular piece of paper that was folded down and later on cut out and separated, forming 2 figures here, X and Y. Now, because this section here is folded down, then I know that, okay, these two shapes must be identical to one another. I'm also told that the top here is 50 cm. Okay, so from there, what do? Let me write it down first. Here, this is going to be 1 unit. This folded down section is 1 unit. And because they say BC to BD is 1:4, I know that if I put BC as 1 unit, BD would have been 4 units. But if I take away 1 unit, this is 3 units. Oh, A is asking for CD. Okay, so if you are telling me CD, I will make the amendment later on. Okay, I mean here, CD, am I correct? Okay, so the rest of you, can you confirm for me as well and type inside the chat box? Is it asking for CD? Okay, I will make an amendment later on as well if it's asking for CD. Because it does not look like it's CD. It looks like it's asking for AE based on what the rest is asking for. Okay, BD. Ayo, all things, BD. Then people asking, tell me AE. A lot of people are now telling me that it's BD. So, okay, thank you. I will make the amendment here. It is not asking for AE, it's not asking for CD, it is actually asking for BD. Thank you very much, okay? So, sorry, let me rewrite it again. This is BD. Nice, okay, good that you are aware and telling me. Okay, but AE, BD, actually it means the same thing. So it doesn't matter which one we found. Now, from here, let us continue to do. If BD is 4 units, your AE is 4 units as well. And let's look at where the 50 centimeters are. The 50 centimeters are here, AB, and because we folded down, this would be 50 cm as well. This would be 50 cm as well. This would be 50 cm as well. But if we take a look at the rest of the figure, there is one more thing that we haven't labeled. What about this little line over here? So take note that this little line is actually the same as this little line at the top. This was then cut out. So we need to add this 1 unit too. So now let us continue and see the rest of the calculations. Because we want to find the difference between Y and X. So if I take my figure X minus my figure Y, what am I actually counting? So let us do our calculations. This part here, X, is made out of 2 of the 50s. So I can write here, 2 times 50 plus all of the other units surrounding the figure. 4, 1, 3. I have 8 units altogether. But remember again, because we are finding the difference between figure X and Y, so I need to minus away whatever I got for my figure Y as well. Figure Y, there is 2 parts, 50 cm, 50 cm. 50 times 2, and remember again, because I need to subtract the other 2 sides, 2 units, 2. So from here, look at that. Do you notice that we can simplify this question? 2 times 50, 2 times 50. Then I'm left with 8 units minus 2 units. And this is 6 units left. Okay, so one thing. I know some of you say my labeling may be wrong. Yes, I have to stay first. I'm not the one sitting for the paper. I have to hear from the students that has given me the questions. So my labeling may be wrong, but I hope that the general idea is still correct. Okay, so if you see the general idea is still correct, we can continue as such. So in this case, 6 units will refer to the 60 centimeters difference. 1 unit refers to the 10 centimeter difference. And because they're asking for BD in this question, BD is 4 units. BD is 4 units. This would actually give us an answer of 40 cm. So if you all tell me that your answer is 40, very well done. If some of you say the answer is I think some of you all say it is 37.5, I believe that you may have made a mistake somewhere inside the paper. Again, I am not 100% confirmed, but this is based on what I have been provided and based on what other students have also shared with me. Okay, so this is as much as I'm able to provide all of you. Now, let's continue on. Now, if we look at the rest of the question, we have a second major part. Okay, we are asking for the area of X. Area of X is basically one big rectangle minus 2 triangles. So from here, all we need to do is to go and take the information here and calculate it. We know that your AE or your BD is already 40 cm. All we need to do, 40 times 50. We have the area of the whole rectangle. Then we are supposed to subtract away 2 of the triangles. But how do we do so? Take note, there is a 90-degree angle. These triangles are right-angle triangles, meaning that we can solve based on 2 times your half base, 50, times your height. 1 unit, this is 10 times 10. If you happen to notice as well, we can cancel away haya. And we are left with 2,000 minus 500, giving us 1,500 cm squared. And that's why many of you, once you reach here, you'll be like, oh, a sigh of relief because you did manage to get 1,500. Okay, so as I look through the rest, okay, in a sense, some of you have other methods to do the question as well, but these methods over here, okay, this is, I would say, the more appropriate method to solve the question for most students. This is like the school-based method to solve. Okay, now, like I said, there is some questions that maybe some of you have seen from other places, but you have not, really noticed yet. This one, this is a question that, I think some of you have not seen from other places, but you kind of vaguely remember. Once again, I need to say this to everybody. I'm not sure of the position of all of these letters over here, but please tell me if there are any corrections to the general figure or what the question is asking for. Okay? Now, let us go through this question. Okay, so for this question here, we notice that we have a few information. ABC is an equilateral triangle, so you have this, this, and this. Then after that, we are also told that we have this entire square. So we are now asked to go and calculate your FAE on the outside and also finding your FBD, which is in the inside. So from here, let us do our calculations. Also, sorry, they also mentioned BF is parallel to DE. So if you know that FB is parallel to DE, do take note that your AC must also have been parallel to DE as well, because it's a square. So we know that FB is already parallel to AC. If you all notice, this was actually one of the questions stated at the bottom over here. So we have already solved one little section. Now, as I continue to do my calculations, let's see. Equilateral triangle, here is 60, here is 60, here is 60 degrees as well. All these are important. All these are very important. Now, once you have gotten this 60 degrees, we need to go and count everything else that we have. Because the lines are parallel, one way we can determine the values of some other angles are like so. Do we see this Z over here? So how many of you actually thought of using alternate angles to do the calculation? This is also 60 degrees. So this means we can calculate BAF easily by taking 180 minus 60 minus 68, giving me 52 degrees. So I hope that at this point you did manage to get that, your 52 degrees. What else do we see here that will be helpful for us calculating your FAE? Another 90 degrees over here. So now what I can do to find my angle FAE would be 360 degrees minus 52 degrees minus 60 degrees minus 90 degrees. If we subtract all the values here, we would get 158 degrees. And I did see that I think 2 students did type for me 158 degrees. So basically confirming that this should have been fun. Okay? So from here, if we have gotten one of the questions, let us then go over to our second part, which is our FBD. So let's go over to the FBD. Now, for FBD, okay, I'm going to show you one thing that some students may have missed out. Did you all remember? Here is an isosceles triangle. Did you all notice this isosceles triangle? We see this, oh, sorry, this is a very poorly drawn line. So we have this line, BD. I'm drawing as straight as I can. Then we have your CD, then your BCD. This part is very crucial because this will then help you find your CBD. CBD. 180 degrees minus your 60 degrees and minus another 90 degrees, and we divide it by 2 to allow us to find this is 15 degrees. And look at what else we have inside our figure. Our last part to find FBD is by taking 60 plus 60, because we got these two 60 degrees already, but we don't need the 15 degrees. We need to minus 15. We are then left with 105. So, did you all manage to get this part? Your 105 degrees as well? Did you all manage to get both of these questions correct, everybody? Are we okay for this one? Okay, hopefully more of you can share with me as well. Did you all manage to get this too? Okay, so if this question is fine, let us continue on the remaining section. Now, we know that BF and AC, they are both parallel to one another. But now, because of the angles, let's combine two of these angles together. This one, angle 68 plus the angle 120. So you notice that for these two angles combined together, there was sum to be 188. But if these two were supposed to be parallel to one another, this means that, wait a minute, this is not possible. The sum of the angles should have been 180 degrees. So what we will do in this case is to note that no way, these lines are not parallel. Since they're not parallel, all we need to do is to cancel. Okay, we can start to cancel. AF and your BC is not parallel to one another. And since they are not parallel, this means that there is only a trapezium instead. Trapezium, one pair of parallel lines, and the other side, they are not parallel. this is a trapezium. So, let me mention, I have not been provided the magnet question, I think. Wait a minute. Magnet. Oh, wait, no, I do have the magnet question. I will show you the magnet question soon. Okay, so let's go over to the next one. Okay, so just to share with you the remaining questions that I have, 1, 2. 2 questions. So the magnets and also the hearts and stars question. So maybe you all can share with me already. What are your solutions to this? Okay? These are the last 2 that I have for everybody. So, now let's talk about the hearts and the stars on both sides. The answers are coming in. Yes, you got 9. 9. Do you all get 9 as well? Hey, does everybody else also get 9 for this? Very nice. So, let me go ahead and write down the values of what we have at the start. 22 hearts and 2 stars. So, how do we actually get the answer for this question? Now, our idea is to have as little students as possible. But as we try to find as little students as possible, do take note there is 8 stars and 5 hearts for that each student is able to add. You want to try to make them as equal as possible. So what we want to do is to first make them as close as possible. Maybe we add 1 star, we get 10. Maybe we add another star and it gives us 18. And some of us will be like, these 2 numbers are much closer now. Maybe if I add 1 heart, 1 star, plus 5, plus 8 again, okay, I can get the final answer already. Okay, because I'm getting as close as possible. 26. This is 27. Wait a minute. There's a little bit of a problem here. Because, we cannot actually find a way to balance their numbers anymore. The reason being is this. Your 8 and 5. Each time you add 1 student on each side, the difference between them is going to be 3. And this means that if you form multiples of 3, it will make our calculation much easier. So our idea, as we can see here, is not to go for this 18 actually, but to go for this 10. Why the 10? Because if we look at the difference now, the big difference between these 2 figures, 22 minus 10, it gives us 12. We can close these multiples of 3 very easily by adding 1 student that adds the stars and 1 student that adds the hearts. So if we find the small difference, it would be 8 minus 5 giving us 3. And from here, this means that we can find the number of groups. The groups is 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So I am adding here, plus 4 students, plus 4 students. Here, 1 student. Here, 4 student. Here, 4 student. And that's why based on the student counts, 4 plus 4 plus 1. This final answer here is 9. So that's why for those who gave me the answer of 9, very well done. This is the correct technique to solve this question. Now, let me mention that I think that there were sources from outside that may have given the hearts as 8 and the stars as 5. So I think, and I'm pretty sure about this because most of my other students confirm that it is not that way. It is supposed to be 5 hearts and 8 stars, okay? So just take note of that. Now, let's go for one last question. Someone was asking for the magnets question, so you are getting to see the magnets question here as well. And yes, for those ready, some of you getting 63 and 13. Now, let me show you a quick way to do this question. The first part, they said that there were 97 large and small magnets at first, but we take away 4 magnets immediately. So for part 1, 97 minus 4, we get 93. At the end, this person, Tina, had 114 magnets. So what we want to do here is to find the number of increase in the large magnets. Take note. Here, they stated the large magnets increased by 50%. So this means that 50% of my large magnets equals to 21. But they're asking large magnets in the end. Large magnets in the end is not 100%, everybody, because that was the original number. It has increased by 50%. We need to plus another 50%, giving me 150%. So we should be counting instead 150% of the large, which means it's 3 times 63. Last but not least, we need to go and calculate our part B. Was there more small magnets or large magnets at first? So how do we tell? You already know that 150% is at the end, but we are finding out the number of large magnets at first. So we are finding 100% of the large, which will then refer to the number at the beginning. So 100% of my large magnets would have been 42. So at the start, 97 large and small. Large I know is 42, I can find small. Small would be 97 minus 42, which gives me 55. Last but not least, again, more small or large magnets. Small is clearly the answer here. How much more? Take note, how much more? 55 minus 42. The difference in this case is 55 minus 42. The final answer is 13. And this is the final question for everyone. So, how do you feel about your scores? Now, whether or not you got them correct or wrong, let's put this aside. This is just to ease your tension as you try to go and think about the questions you have completed in your PSLE. I hope this has relieved a lot of your tensions so that you no longer need to think about this paper anymore. Now, if again you want to look at these answers in the future, no problem. You can just take a review once more, or you can wait till the answers appear again next year. Now, as we go through the remaining stuff that I have, I want to share with all of you this as well. So here, for those who are primary 5, do take note, trial classes. If you feel that my teaching is good, you can consider asking your parents to sign you up for our trial classes to experience how I teach on a more regular basis as well. Moreover, with the QR code here, if you want to go and take a look. Now, moreover, we also have our mock test for the primary 5 students as well. So again, if you feel that your brothers and sisters did well for this year's mock test, you understand why we are actually showing you over here, the mock test as well. Mock test, very helpful. Yes, I know. If you are done already, you can go off. For those P6 students, go and have your break. This is only for the P5. But one last thing I still want to tell everybody here, okay? Here, I hope that everyone did well for your PSLE. I wish you all the best because we still have some remaining tests. Please, I do really hope that all of you will still put in your best effort during the weekend. Just stay a little bit later, just to go and prepare yourself for the upcoming papers. I wish everybody the best, and I hope that all of you will get your good scores and that you'll be happy about it. So, if there's any more things that you are keen on asking me, Okay, feel free to stay back and you can type inside the chats and I will look around to go and see. Okay? Yes. So yes, I'm done already. I finished all the questions here. Oh, go back to the last question. Someone is asking me to look at the last part here. The Tina question. Okay, bye-bye for those who are going off. Bye-bye. Now, for the rest, if you are keen on looking, okay, yes, just please take a look. If you say A but B, A wrong but B correct. So I won't call it fluke. There is a chance that if your workings may have actually gotten correct, that your teacher may have minus your method and your answer marks for part A, but they can still bring an error carry forward to the second part. Question 4. I'm so sorry. I don't have every question, Aiden. I need you to tell me, so what is question 4? And I will see whether I have it with me or not. Oh, Aaron, Barry, Clara. I don't know the names of the people. I will assume that the Aaron, Barry, Clara is talking about this donation question. So sorry, the ratio question I do not have with me. If you got the first part correct, second part wrong, that means I'm sorry, you are very likely to not be able to receive any marks for part 2. Method mark for the magnets. As long as you can obtain the value of the 21, you should receive 1 method mark. Okay, so someone said 97 small magnets and some large magnets. I'm so sorry because the one that I have been provided by the students is small and large together is 97. Because if you did not have that right, you probably would have difficulty actually solving the correct answer. Okay, someone is asking for question 17. Now, here is question 17 for you. Okay, a method mark for first 5 questions, yes, there is. Typically, there will still be a method mark because especially for section C. Your answer is normally only worth 1 mark, which means in between, if you make any correct steps, there is a good chance you will still have your answers, the correct answers. I mean, at least the method mark. Yeah, so I'm sorry because I do not know all of the numbers. So therefore, I can only give you based on what I have heard from the students. I do not know all the question numbers. Okay, which method mark? I cannot tell you which method mark. Question 17's method mark. Okay, so I assume that this is a 5-mark question, and based on how I will do this, this should be the assignment. This should be 3 marks. This should be 2 marks. If this was 3 and 2, if you have somewhat of a steps for this question, I would take that this would be worth 1 mark. If you can obtain that your 6 units is your 6 units over here is the correct value, I will take this as another correct method mark already. Then this itself will just provide you the answer mark. 4 mark, 2 and 2. I am so sorry. So if it's a 4-mark question, then I would amend a little bit and I would say that probably this part where you get the 60 will not, once you get the 60 over here, you'll be awarded 1 mark. So because once you get this right, it will be clear for us that you know what is going on. Okay, I would say that this is method mark 1. You divide, you get the final answer, that's the answer mark. This itself will be worth also another method mark, and then this will be worth the answer mark. So okay, if you are looking at the earlier question, opinion, for this one, right, this question, if it's in section B, that means this should be worth 1 method mark. Because this part is the more crucial section. Everybody can tell you 3 times 45, but not everybody can tell you to focus on this 6 over here. So my opinion over here would be, this would be method mark and this is answer mark. Anything else? Oh, look at the first question. Okay, so, okay, for those again, if you had not seen the earlier sections, let me share one more time. So this is the first question. This is based on algebra. Then on the second question, this is the patterns related one. On the third question that I have prepared, this is the coins based question, where again, very similar to the algebra based one. The fourth question, corn, sardine, and tuna. But apparently, I made a small little error. The last part for the tuna is where they give blank, blank, 9. The fifth question is the more infamous question 30 on the factors. So, for factors, my opinion, very truthfully, there shouldn't be really a method mark in this case. Because if you can get the question correct, okay, let's say we give you best is to answer just one side, your method mark. Then this itself, your second value here would be the answer mark already. This is the best that I can say there's a method mark. But it is very unlikely. It is just more of answer mark, 2 marks. There shouldn't be a method mark for these kinds of questions. Now, as we continue on, this is the next question, the one on speed. Another question for your, I think it's based on volume, base area calculation. Another question is based on, in my opinion, what I call the repeated identity, the common numerator question, or we adjust the numerator to find the total. We have the area question where you do a common, once again what I mentioned to many students is what I call the overlapping perimeter. In fact, not just here, it's actually this whole section. So this is the kind of question that I actually predicted that will be appearing this year, and I'm very happy that it did. However, not tested in the exact way that I will be expecting for, because I was expecting a bit more of a calculation rather than just a quick elimination. This is actually very similar, I think, to a 2020 paper where they cut the triangles out. Like they have the rectangle, then they cut small triangles out. So it's very similar to that one. Then we have the angles question. Okay, and then I'm so sorry, Heckler, I just saw your reply. So based on that, right, if you write only 6 remainder 2, I'm so sorry, I don't think that you will obtain your method mark. Okay, because when you write it as remainder 2 instead of remainder 3, this means that you calculated it wrongly. Your 6, it seems more like what they call it as a fluke. You got a little lucky for that one. Okay, and last but not least, 2 more. The hearts and stars question. And one more, the section C, the magnets based questions. Okay, yes, and I see the lucky crow. I saw that you have typed the question now. Give me a moment, I'll be answering that for you, all right? Okay, so if you, Zirius, maybe I'll answer you first. So if you just wrote down the common multiple, you may not get the correct answer because you did not prove the 6 factors. You may have only gotten the answer mark. Maybe you give you 1 only. Okay, so for those who are asking and seeking for one more question, let me help you, and I'll find the space that has the most area, most section for me to go and do. So let me remove this whole section first. And now I'm not looking at this question anymore. There is a bonus question for the students that shared with me, the ratio-based ones. So let me write down first. So ratio, we have Alan and Barry shared some stickers in a ratio of 3:5. Alan, Barry, 3:5. Now, Alan gave 20% of his stickers to Clara, who had none at first. So at the beginning, Clara had nothing, zero, zilch. So after the transfer of the 20%, so we look at this, is 20% is the same as, 20% is the same as 1/5. Is it divisible by 5? Not yet. So what I will do is to actually manipulate a little bit to write it as 15:25 is to still 0. But you are taking away 3 from Alan. Reason being, 15 times 1/5 is 3. You minus away 3, you are left with Alan 12, the Barry is 25, Clara is 3. So, is this what was stated here? Okay? Because it does not seem to match what a lot of people are saying at the top. So, I am not sure if there was any errors that you may have made for me. Yes, Heckler, so you are correct. Trapezium is the answer for the trapezium question. Trapezium is correct. One parallel, one not parallel. The sardines question, give me a while. I will show you later on. Okay, and the second part I see for this question here. Barry gave Clara some stickers too. In total, 26% of the stickers in the box were Clara's. So let me go and find out. 26%. Okay. So in the end, okay, Clara took up 26 of the 26%, right? So let us go and count. Why does the number seem a little bit funny? Okay. Thank you. So some of you are now giving me something else because what I've been provided with the question is a bit funny at the top. So let me ask again first. The ratio of Alan to Barry, is it 3:5? Or is it Alan is 3 units and then, Barry is 3 units and then the total is 5? Okay, you see? The answer is a bit different here, so let me amend it again. Not to worry, not to worry. Let me make the appropriate changes here. So that's why the ratio doesn't seem to stick with the rest of the group. So that means you're telling me Barry is 3 units, the total is 5. So Alan is 2, Barry is 3. Okay, the total is 5, Clara is still 0. And you want to still hand over 20%, so therefore we still need to go and change this to 10, 15 is to 0. But which one? Who is giving away the 20% now? Is it Alan? Is Alan giving away the 20%? Yeah? Alan 3, Barry 2. All the numbers are a bit funny now. Okay, so we make one last change. Okay, based on the amendments mentioned by all other students here, let me do the final change. 3, 2, Alan 3, total is 5. So Alan to total is 3:5. Thank you. Now, this means that we will change the ratios a little bit. 15, 12, 0. And we still do this. 15 times 20%. This is still going to give us 3. We minus 3. We leave, not 2 anymore. My bad. This one is 10. And this is plus 3. So this will give us 12, 10, 3. A's answer 12, 10, 3. Thank you very much. Now, the second part is now where we minus the 26%, am I correct? Okay, you said 26%. So Clara is supposed to take 26% of the total after one more transfer. So if we add up together, 12 plus 10 plus 3, this will give me 25. But what is 25 times 26%? So if we notice the values over here, again, not so nice. What we can do is to do one final change. We can adjust the ratio such that the numbers are now easier to calculate. So we can do it as 24, 20 is to 6. We add up all the values together, 24 plus 20 plus 6 to give me 50. 50 times 26, this will give us 13. Barry needs to transfer 7 units over. So this will then give us, okay, the after. Okay, again, a bit laggy. After. Okay, at the end, 24. Sorry, 24, 13. So from here, if you're asking for what percentage, give me a moment. Found it. So how much did B give to C? What fraction of the total, am I correct? So if you're talking about the fraction of total of Barry's share, so it is 13 out of 20. Right, his original was 20. Oh wait, sorry, 7 out of 20, 7 out of 20. The share that the amount that he gave, 7 out of 20. Okay? So sorry. I made a little mistake there. So they said what fraction was given, right? So you gave 7 units out of the total 20 units. So Sue, based on what was stated, it was based on the number of the amount that was given. You gave 7. Heckler, I'm so sorry, I do not know the number of marks for the sardine question. I am not too sure about the sardine one. Wow, one more person is sending me another question. Okay, you're talking about the adults and children, and then after that, the price of the items, is it? Okay, so let me help one more question then. Okay, then this is the final one already, because I see someone, it has been sending, I think, this question a total of 4 times already. Let me help out. Okay, so here, the adult ticket costs 24. A children's ticket costs $18. Now, one adult plus one child will give 36. And 2 adults plus 1 child will give us 56. So, how do we spend the least amount of money? The best way in this case is definitely to purchase the most worth it package as much as possible. You have 2 choices. Either you take this number 1 and you times 3 of it and you plus 1 adult, or you can take your number 2 and you have 2 sets of that, but you plus 1 child. So this case, let us try. Now, your first one, if we take $36 times 3 plus 1 adult, you will get $132. The second one, where you take $56 times 2 and you add another child, it will give you 130. So in this case, if this was what you provided me, this would have been the answer, where you have 2 sets of this plus 1, not plus 1 adult, it's plus 1 child. Thank you. Very nice. So, if you all did not spot this as well, there is actually a third case. Use the combos throughout. Okay? Not bad, not bad. You all are sharing with me. If you did spot this one, even better. 56 plus 36 times 2. You look at that. The main goal for the question here is to find a way to completely omit the use of your original adults and children. So your goal should always be this. Get rid of the A and C as much as possible. If you can, don't even use it. Then you will get an even smaller 128. Heckler, please take note. 56 times 2 is not 128. 56 times 2 is only 112. Not bad. So it still seems like it's not only you just, taking my answer for it, because there is always a way to go even smaller. So remember, your goal is not to actually just use all the values that they provided. Sometimes some are not provided. So that are not needed. So you have to omit sometimes. Very nice. So Jaden Chua, very nice. So Zirius, this is based on the adults and child paper. Okay. So I think that is all already for this session. If there is anyone who still has any questions, Jaden, I have went through that question. I just went through it just now. And Jaden, there is a little bit of a mistake in what you have given me, because you have given me Alan is 3, while 5 refers to the total. Okay? So therefore, you made a little error in your question as well. So Valerie, I see that you are asking for the sardine question. You can see the sardine one. Hey, anyone else has any questions? If not, that's all that I have for today already. Hey. Part B is worth 3 marks. Okay, so for those that are done, bye-bye. I don't think that the part B will be worth 3 marks, right? Yeah, the sardine question is only worth, 2 marks for part B. So what I will do is definitely award you M1, A1. That's all. Since there are only 2 steps, that's the best that they can actually ask you to do. They can split the question. Okay, the first one I can say is A1 for part 1, but after that it's only M1 and A1. 8. So last but not least, okay, as a final reminder for all other P5 students that are still here, okay, our Think Academy classes for P5 students, if you all are still here, please feel free on the 20. Yeah, I didn't say a proper goodbye, but it was only like 15 people there only.